This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys is brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. Head to patreon.com/Radio Mike and for as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every week. 50 years after the final Harry Potter book, Harry Potter is now headmaster of Hogwarts, ready to usher in a brand new generation of witches and wizards. My name's Radio Mike, and I love Harry Potter. In fact, I love Harry Potter so much that when I was a kid, I wrote a series of 7 Harry Potter fan fiction novels. This is book 2 in that series. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. Amoras, everyone! Welcome to Harry Potter and the Boys, a fan fiction podcast by me, Radio Mike. This is book 2, Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. We're back, baby. Sammy Garlepp's in the house. How are you, Sam?
I'm bloody here, guys. I'm back. I'm ready to usher in a new year with young witches and wizards. Across
50 years after 50 the original novels.
I knew that from somewhere.
Now, Sam, welcome back. The show's been on a little bit of a hiatus.
Just because it's
been so busy. Because, Go.
Well, this was almost the least prepared I was going to be for Harry Potter and the Boys, because I was like, I haven't listened to it since the 1001 Song Boys were on. And then I went and just checked just then, before I let you into this building, and realised that you hadn't done one. And then I listened to the little update saying you hadn't recorded any because you've been busy and you had things going in your own personal life. And you know what, Mike, let me just be the first among listeners as well, and me to say as well, TMI, too much information. We don't want to know, we don't care.
What did you want me to say in the update? What did you want me to say? No update.
TMI. No,
it's just to get the download numbers up on the show.
No, it is good. No, it was good to keep us updated. I'm just joking.
Before we dive into Harry Potter stuff, though, notice obviously lots of international listeners of this show who won't know or care about the topic I'm about to bring up, but
I want to bring it up too.
The TV Week Logies, which are, I guess you could say, the Australian version of the Emmys, but not really.
Which I think the TV Week magazine would love to call it the Australian version of the Emmys. So it is an awards night where they celebrate
the best of television.
That's what they frame it as. It's actually the most popular of television.
That's actually true. It's all audience voted by people who read the magazine TV Week, which I wouldn't know where to get.
Yeah, and it's awards about it's most popular television presenter, most popular TV show, most popular actor, or whatever. I was thinking about that today. It's a very strange award ceremony, because why don't we just have one that's actually made
by the industry,
by the governing industry or whatever? I'm sure there's a actors guild or
I think they do have. Don't they have the actors as well, which is the Australian Academy of
Why isn't that more important?
I don't know. It is a good question. Why are the Australian Television Awards sponsored by a magazine?
Yeah, so a magazine, pretty outdated form of whatever, about TV shows, which now with Netflix and streaming, that's also kind of getting outdated.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a book about watchers determining what the time is.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. Asking people to vote on the time.
What you mean, but it's also kind of often the winners of Logies are like, oh, it's the news. Best original program, the 6 p.m. news.
That is actually
from Channel 7.
Yeah. That is so weird. And they have specific ones. They're like, up for the best broadcast is, and they go, okay, the 2021 AFL Grand Final. Yeah. Specifically, just the Grand Final day.
And then it's like the 2021 NRL Grand Final.
Yep.
Pretty much that. But what I did notice is best comedy program. Not only was the show that you and I wrote on, The 100, nominated for best comedy program, but also the The Cheap Seats, the other show that you write on.
Yes. So people who are listening to the podcast are probably thinking, why does anyone care about this award ceremony? And you and I usually don't.
Yeah.
But it just happens that this year we're more invested because we are literally working for the shows that are nominated.
Now, admittedly, the shows we work on did not win the Logie that we were nominated for, but can you now call yourself Logie-nominated writer Sam Garlepp?
Oh, well, I mean, I can.
Two-time Logie-nominated writer, really?
I think if I claim in a public forum that I am a Logie-nominated writer for the Cheap Seats and the 100, I think I can be sued for defamation. I'm sure that both Andy Lee and the guys at Working Dog for Cheap Seats, they're probably like, no, we don't want you saying that.
Yeah.
But I am. I'm the head writer for both of them. No, it's funny because you actually are the head writer for the 100.
No, not anymore.
Oh.
Well, I don't think I am the head writer. I'm just the script writer. I just write the scripts.
Sounds pretty important to me.
But, anything else on the Logies before we get into the Harry Potter Logies?
Look, it was funny because, I guess I was like, in the comedy program, I was like, wow, I work for 2.5 of the shows that were nominated.
Yeah. What were the other two? Have you been paying attention?
Have you been paying attention? Which the
Working Dog.
Working Dog is a production company, and they produce both Have You Been Paying Attention and Cheap Seats, which is my main job.
Yeah.
But I probably did 1 day of work for Have You Been Paying Attention last year. So I'm going to claim it.
Yeah, claim it. So 3-time Logie.
We're all going to the movies together tomorrow.
The whole team.
Yeah.
You, Mel Bracewell, Tim McDonald, Tom Gleisner.
Yeah.
Actually, what are you seeing?
Top Gun.
Oh, okay.
It was funny because they sent the invite out 2 months ago when Top Gun came out. And I was like, so do we just have to not see it until then?
2 months,
it's really weird.
Avoid all spoilers.
Yeah, well, I have so far.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I've heard good things.
And the other thing was just, the only other Logies thing was just Carl Stefanovic being not as drunk as he was 10 years ago. But I love that he's, like, there was just a shot of him at this table with a beer and a packet of Panadol in the one hand. And I was like,
so funny.
That's pretty good.
I actually didn't watch the event, unfortunately. I tried to log in.
We tried to get invited.
We tried to get invited to the Logies with, because obviously for the 100 and the Cheap Seats, we did not cop an invite. We were not there on the Gold Coast, unfortunately, last night.
Did see, a bunch of our bosses were all there.
Lots of people we know were there. Was disappointed we didn't get to go along, but...
On the other hand, it looked really freaking boring.
Yeah, it went for like 4 hours, didn't it?
Yeah, I went out to dinner, came home, did some work, flipped it back on, still hadn't finished. I was like, great.
Yeah, Hamish took out the Gold Logie, who I work for, which is good. But look, we're not here to talk Logies. We're here to talk Harry Potter and the team as a tournament.
I do have one more thing on Hamish.
Go.
I think now, when do you? Sorry, this is you've been. Oh, this is about on another podcast. They've started your Radio Mike, obviously, is the moniker you go by.
Yeah.
And for a while, they were calling you Podcast Mike on the Hamish and Andy podcast. When do you think Hamish started calling you Multimedia Mike?
It was on one of the recent episodes because it was just a joke that happened because they were just talking about how I'm across TV, radio, podcasts, etc.
So the episode, when we were working the 100 earlier this year, the episode, one of the episodes where I came in and Hamish was on.
Yeah.
And I was coming in and I was looking for you on the day of filming.
That's right, yeah. You came to the studio.
Yeah, and I kind of walked in, I was like, I'm just looking for Mike. And they're like, oh, Mike, which...
Goldstein.
I was like, no, Radio Mike, and because Hamish was, I was like, oh, Radio Mike, Podcast Mike, I guess multimedia Mike. And Hamish was like, yeah, multimedia Mike.
Oh, and this is months before.
Yeah.
So are you saying that Hamish has stolen that from you and you should have won the Gold Logie last night?
I'm now a Gold Logie writer as well. So, no, I mean...
Now, keep in mind, I did discover recently that both Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong won a Gold Logie for the moon landing, which is hilarious.
It's pretty easy to win a Logie.
Yeah. You just fucking walk on the moon. Any old Joe can do that.
Anyway, I'm just saying... I think I actually planted that seed in his mind. He wouldn't even know who I am.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that because he kind of chuckled, multimedia Mike.
That's funny. I'm going to use it on my show and win the Gold Logie and not credit you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to play him this audio, this damning audio, this accusation. It'll hit the Daily Mail.
Should we talk about Harry Potter?
Yeah. Did you're up to date. You heard the most recent chapter, which was, I believe, Gorby's funeral. What did you think of Gorby's funeral, and where do you think the story's at right now?
What happened at the funeral again?
So Gorby Bolonsky died in the Team Wizard tournament.
I was there when he died. I mean,
I'm pretty sure the funeral was actually cancelled and then the funeral's cancelled because no one showed up. Poor Gorby. And then that was pretty much it. And then the Team Wizard tournament was also cancelled because Harry, in a quite a rational view, said, someone's died. We probably just should cancel this whole tournament. So they canceled.
Why didn't they do that
in the original?
In the original.
Yeah. So
okay.
We now pick it up at chapter 17.
Mm-hmm.
Any questions, queries, comments, concerns before we get into this?
Yes. Do we have to?
It is part of the obligations that we do have to read the fan fiction on the show. Otherwise, people have just tuned in for 12 minutes of Logie's chat and damning accusations.
If we wrap it up now, it's just a bit weird if we wrap it up now.
It is.
But it does relate. That all relates back to Harry Potter, doesn't it?
It does.
In a way.
Think about it.
I heard, Voldemort won a Logie for...
No, Harry won a gold Logie for killing Voldemort. Yeah. Special services to the television industry.
They streamed it. Yeah, okay. Should we start?
We pick it up at chapter 17, and as you know, Sam, on this podcast, we always start by reading the title of the chapter, which is, Sammy Garlepp, take it away for chapter 17 of Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament, which is called the following. The next words to come out of Sam's mouth will be the title. He'll do it any second now.
Fuck my ass.
Because Sam... Wow!
No,
you wouldn't read that?
No.
Okay, go.
Chapter 17. The main plot of this currently pointless book begins.
Yeah. And that is 17 chapters in. Depending on...
This book is 17 chapters young. Just think about that.
If the book's 100 chapters long, it's probably in the early stages of the book.
Is the book 100 chapters long?
I don't think so. I think it's like 35. So we are beyond halfway of the book.
Okay.
Let's get started.
Okay. The next few weeks at Hogwarts were pretty standard. Just going to classes, chilling, and just being themselves.
We're back.
But not the boys being themselves, the weeks being themselves. Because it doesn't say the boys.
No, I think it's the boys. I think it's referring to the boys.
Just chilling.
A bit of extrapolation.
Okay.
Just inserting a cut point here because Sam accidentally said something that we can't put to air at risk of defamation. Not the thing about how he should have won Hamish's Logie, but
I will be looking for that.
So pick it up, Sam. Pick it up.
No, nobody had spoken about how Professor Finnegan had died in one of the earlier chapters, and the Muggle Studies teacher hadn't been replaced yet. So whenever the boys had Muggle Studies, they just sat in the classroom and did nothing.
And so, as we know, previous chapter, Mr. Charger does kill Professor Seamus Finnegan and then frames Harry Potter and basically says to Harry Potter, everyone's going to think it was you, Harry. And Harry's like, but it wasn't me. And Mr. Charger's like, I know that, but they don't.
It's a pretty good strategy of just getting swept up in the moment. And, I know how that feels.
I mean, any of us could have killed him.
Exactly. It's like, Hamish getting swept in the moment going, any of us could have come up with this multimedia mic thing. Could
have been me, could have been you, could have been Mike himself. We don't really know.
No one will know, so now it's just
we can't go back to that moment, no matter how hard we try.
It's part of the zeitgeist now, and
we'll never know, guys. I'll take the Logie, you can have it on weekends.
So I like that they just still go to the class and they just sit there and do nothing.
No one's doing anything.
Which is funny, because I also feel like if you ever had a teacher not show up in class... Do you ever have that when the substitute teacher?
Very rarely.
Yeah, and then
it happens. And there's been some mix-up in administration at Ted Ganane's office at our school. That's a name drop for anyone who went to our school.
I just realised that I live with the Ganane's cousin.
Oh, do you really?
Yep, so shout out to Jeremy, if you're listening.
Jeremy Ganane went to my primary school. Shout out to Jeremy, if you're listening. He was my buddy in grade 3. He was my grade 4 buddy.
You had a grade 4 buddy when you were in grade 3?
Yeah, Jeremy Ganane. Whose dad was the head of administration at our school, hence this discussion.
Typically, you have a buddy of a prep to grade 6 or a
year 7 to year 12.
Exactly.
Yeah. We had grade 3 to grade 4.
That is weird.
Yeah, what is a grade 4 advising a grade 3 on as a buddy? It's like...
in my school, I was in a grade 3-4 class.
No, that's what it was. We were in the same class.
Why put that power imbalance there? Like it's like the Stanford prison experiment. Okay, one of you is the one in charge, and one of you is not. Did he torture you?
No, he was a good buddy.
Shout
I remember
out-
him being quite a good buddy.
But that's like being when you get when you're too old to be babysat. Really, like
Yeah.
you're 12 getting babysat by a 15-year-old. You're like,
Yeah.
this is weird.
Yeah. What do you know that I don't?
Anyway, I also remember that when if you didn't go get someone when a teacher didn't show up, then another teacher would come in and get really angry. What? Who's it?
Why did someone
not come in again? That's it. You're all staying back.
Yeah.
No one move.
This is what we'd expect from the year 4s, not the grade
Not the grade
5s.
That's why you've got buddies. Anyway,
Why did none of the grade 4s think to set an example for their buddy and come and get a teacher? All right, we're one paragraph into the chat. Always feel free to send in your stories of the
yeah, we love
the
school
detours
stories. Just put a little magic in there, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Mix it up.
Because these are our magical memories. Really, they're our. We find these memories to be magical in a sense. So that's why we share.
Multimedia Mike's magical memories. It rolls off the tongue. It doesn't really. It's tough.
And you are using a Triple M sock there, so that kind of works. Okay.
We are recording this for the first time in the radio studios that both Sam and I work out of.
Which is probably why you can tell we're putting on our radio voices.
Are we?
Nah.
This is my normal voice.
Yeah,
Hey. Let's keep reading.
Harry Potter didn't seem to care and hadn't put out a job ad to replace him.
Right.
Okay,
Typical Harry in this book.
Every time someone mentioned Seamus Finnegan to Harry, he would shrug his shoulders and say, huh? Seamus? Nope. Don't seem to recall him.
I love how Harry has genuinely been duped into believing he did kill Seamus when he was there and knows he didn't.
Because I've just realised why Harry isn't. Yeah. Okay. But Harry, he fought in the Battle of Hogwarts with you and was one of your friends from Gryffindor when you were at school, someone would say. Nope, I haven't heard of him. I think you've got him mistaken for somebody else. I definitely don't know who he is, and I don't think he ever taught here. There was definitely a professor whose name was like Snape or something. Maybe you're thinking of him? Snapus? Seamus? Harry would say.
You've probably just,
Snapus, Seamus.
You're young. In your memory, you've conflated Snape and Snapus, Seamus. You've gone down that path.
And the thing is, you could have likened, instead of likening Seamus to the word Snape, you could have gone Severus and Seamus.
And also, these kids don't know Severus Snape because he died 50 years before they were born.
Yeah. One afternoon, Harry was walking down the corridors and doing finger guns at all the students, raising his eyebrows, being like, "Hey, hey, hey!"
Doesn't say that. So, and this is a perfect example of what the Harry Potter character has become in this version of the timeline of Harry Potter. That he's covering up the murder of another teacher, and he's just walking. He's not doing headmaster stuff. He's just going, "Hey, hey," like this.
Everyone's like, "Oh, there he is. There's Harry again."
Hey, as if he's like, everyone's gonna think I'm cool if I do this.
Yeah, he's cool. He's laid back. Definitely hasn't murdered anyone.
How could someone that calm have murdered someone or be covering up a murder at the least? Hey.
So he was doing A to them as they walked past. A few of the students started asking about Professor Finnegan's disappearance, and Harry would just distract them by being like, "You know what's a really good movie? The Nutty Professor."
A callback to
yeah.
an earlier reference in the book.
Harry continues, "It's about a guy who's really fat and has no luck with the chicks, who makes a potion to make him really hot, and suddenly chicks love him. Harold's dad wrote it."
Again, contentious throwback to the moment in which Harold's dad sarcastically says, "Yeah, and I wrote The Nutty Professor," and then signs a nurse's breasts in an earlier chapter.
And has anyone come forward? We did have one person saying that the crusty demons.
Their boobs out.
Yeah, because the crusty demons had previously signed their breasts.
Part of me, I think we discussed this last time you were on. Now I worry that people are going to feel pressure for me to sign their boobs, and I don't want that. It's only if you want it will I do it.
Yeah,
it's not an expectation.
And you're not going to bring it up.
I'm not going to bring it up, so don't worry. And I hate that this precedent exists now. Yeah. Anyway.
Even if you see Mike holding a permanent marker, uncapped, licking his lips, don't.
Which I wouldn't do, by the way.
Anyway, this is one of my favourite lines I've seen. So he's just explained about. Harold Sad wrote it. Then it goes. Some students decided to go to Video Easy to rent it, but they only had the Nutty Professor too.
And what a relic of the time this book was written in several ways, because one, Video Easy, basically like your Australian version of Blockbuster Video, although we did have Blockbuster as well.
And Civic Video.
Civic Video. There was one in Hawthorne, wasn't there? Remember that?
Sure.
But Civic was always, I think, the bad one.
Yeah, it was a bit dodgy, but it was good.
And then, but also the fact that this book, which takes place chronologically in like 2050 or 20...
Oh, yeah.
Video Easy wouldn't have been a thing even then.
So obviously young Mike had no
foresight.
Foresight of how technology was going to develop and...
Because there's no Video Easies now. You would,
yeah, we should Google that.
Should Google it, but I don't think there is. Someone write in.
The boys had a potions class with Expelled House, so they made their way to the classroom with Derek and Dimmy and some of the other students in Gryffindor. I love that Expelled, like really, really good. You keep tying it in because it's so funny. There's a house
and there's two
house.
students.
There's like two students in it.
One is a second year, one is a first year.
Mr. Charger entered the classroom and seemed more frustrated than normal, probably because he hadn't been able to murder the boys like he had originally planned to. Today we will not be making any potions, but instead we will have an exclusive performance from the Jim Wilkins Choir, said Mr.
Good
Charger.
to have him back.
Yeah. Kind of funny, I guess, being like, all right, we got maths today, but, we're not doing any sums. We're just going to...
Put some music on.
Watch a movie.
I remember this one English teacher at our school who would always put on Radiohead's OK Computer album while we were studying. He's like, guys, we can listen to some music if you're quiet. And he just put on Radiohead.
It feels like he wanted to listen to Radiohead.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Derek clapped and smiled, saying, "Yay!" And Dimmy simply explained that it didn't matter that they wouldn't be making potions in this class because he already knew how to make every potion in the world, including secret potions that only he and his dad knew about, one of which can make any girl want to give you head.
No!
Oh, my God.
So wait, you drink the potion and what, do you just like radiate some blowjob aura? Also just I've got to give you head. Wow.
Well, that is a...
Teenage boys would be brewing that.
Yeah,
well, most people would be.
Yeah. That is a disgusting idea, and it does have the ingredient. I'm just going to write it down. Okay. Method. Okay.
Lacewing flies. A bezel.
Anyway, gross. And you don't like
the hair of the person you want.
Weird, but great. Okay.
Great.
Moving on. Anyway, Year 7 wrote this, so it's all good.
Yeah.
The Jim Wilkins Choir ejaculated into the room.
Oh, wow.
Oh, my God.
What?
This is something, dear readers and listeners, that we've been wondering if this will ever come up again.
Oh.
And don't you guess
Clownfish. Sorry. Clownish Kim Jiri or whatever.
And I think we might have you and I might have had I'm not sure if we actually put a wager on it if it would come back.
Oh.
But, so the Jim Wilkins Choir ejaculated into the room, nothing funny about that, and began singing various Black Eyed Peas songs.
Oh, that. Yeah, because there was an earlier chapter in which Mr. Charger and Mr. Mooney's Dark Shop of Magic were talking about, who's Squid and John Mooney's dad, were talking about Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah, they were just,
go on.
They started singing Black Eyed Peas songs, including but not limited to.
Like these songs were the hits. Not all they sung.
People were really bopping along to these ones, but they did do some off the back album.
They did a few of their other B-sides. Deep cuts.
Did we both just say B-sides at the same time?
Yeah. Crazy. Bit of magic. There's magic in the room, guys.
But not limited to Lady Lumps, Pump It, and Don't Lie.
Isn't the song called My Heart? The song is not called Lady Lumps.
for sure.
Oh God.
Mr. Charger went into the back room. Who knows what he was doing?
Was he? Is it
I
implying
know.
that he's masturbating?
I don't know. The narrator could have done it. Anyway, the boys were enjoying just having a casual class where they could chill out and listen to the music. No, 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 babe. No, 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 don't lie.
Wow. Thank you for doing
you.
that, by the way, instead of just reading it.
And another one. No, 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 don't funk with my heart.
Right. So are we now basically getting a montage sort of thing of
must
the
be a montage.
the JWC singing the Black Eyed Peas songs? Yeah.
And then before breaking into another original song.
Oh. And that's why it said including but not limited to.
Yeah. Ring, ring, ring with the trolley. Clang, clang, clang with the bell. Do you like our singing? We know you do, we can tell.
And a vicious genre shift from
Yeah.
sexy R&B to old-time songs.
And it's not an original song, is it?
No.
So-
it's not. Well, it's like an original lyric shift up, but it's not an original song by any
Parody or
means.
a sample?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you want to call it.
A cover, I believe.
A cover? Sure.
I wonder if we need to pay licensing fees to sing all these songs. On
to whoever, yeah, Bette Midler or whoever's, yeah. Derek clapped loudly and gave a standing ovation. He also turned to the boys and said, "See, I told you the Jim Wilkins Choir didn't have any plans to murder us and definitely aren't evil and going to turn out to be the secret villain of the story."
Which, you know, and the thing about this book and why I genuinely wonder why people are still listening is that it is very clear that a lot of the things that are going to happen feel very clear.
Oh, right. As in, like you know the ending.
Well, it's been made so apparent that...
Not really, you don't know the ending, really, but you
But
do.
we know the Jim Wilkins Choir must become evil because there's so many hints towards it, like this one.
I guess, Mike, you know, it's not always about the destination, it's about the journey.
Yeah, it's true. You
And-
know what I think is funny about it? Not to use a crass example, but I love how Derek says this in front of the Jim Wilkins Choir so that they can hear. It's basically like if you're in school and one of your teachers was like, had some allegations of being a pedophile floating around. It's like, see, I told you Mr. Whatever's not a pedophile in front of him. It's basically like that.
It is a bit like that. And, you know, Mike, I got to say, though, crass stuff like that is not, this is not the place.
Sorry,
this podcast
guys.
is not the place for
I just
crass
couldn't think
humour.
of another example.
I know. It's clear that it's on your mind. No, anyway. As the Jim Wilkins Choir was singing, Harry walked into the room, did some finger guns.
I love that he's just like pottering around the school like a curious pigeon, just stepping into rooms being like, hey. Surely someone out there is like, Harry, there's this new, the board wants to expand the school and build a new sports facility for the kids.
Hey, yeah, surely there's an actual ad, like, oh, you've got to, you know, make some calls, and if you, whatever,
Yeah.
you've got some meetings with some parents, or,
Yeah.
you know, obviously we've had some people die recently. You know, there's a bit of,
There's
the
a few
lawyers are
things building
here.
up. Yeah. What are you going to do about that?
Are there magical lawyers? Have we discussed that?
Yeah, there must be.
There must be.
Because there's the court cases in
Yeah, but that seems like a bit of a witch hunt.
bit of a farce.
so to
Yeah, a
speak.
bit of a witch hunt. Or
okay, so he says
or
a
wizard hunt.
a wizard hunt. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's where I was getting at. I guess when you explain it, though, that's good.
You know what actually is funny? Sorry to interrupt, guys. Well, it is my podcast.
Yeah.
In the context of the Harry Potter, like in the canon of Harry Potter, like witches being burnt at the stake is canon. Like that happened, as we know, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
Salem witches are real in
I've
in
got
Harry
so
Potter
much to
canon.
say about Salem witches, but go on.
Well, I was just going to say, you never really hear about wizards being burned at the stake. Were they better at concealing it?
First of all, sexist.
No, but I'm genuinely curious. I'm genuinely curious.
Well, I would genuinely, like, if I'm going to really, I would genuinely say, well, the sexism at the time, that would have been like, nope,
A
bloody
man
women.
could- Yeah, that is probably true. That's a good point.
Also, the Salem witch trials, which happened, I think,
1500s? I read The Crucible in school in literature.
yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's 1500s.
I think so. Correct us if we're wrong, guys.
So, at that point, do you remember how many witches got? It was like,
No.
it wasn't actually that. I mean, it was like a few hundred.
Sure.
Sorry, witches. They were just women.
They were just humans, yeah.
They were just humans.
Yeah.
They in the 50s. This is like a history class now. In the 50s, wherever it was, Massachusetts,
The 1950s.
the 1950s, they reopened the case legally.
Sorry, I was just, you just looked at me when I was
I
just
know.
pressing,
I just realised you've got a button.
I
there.
just coughed and there's a cough button. So if you press it, you don't hear the cough.
I just did it.
It'll probably come through on the other mic.
Yeah.
But anyway, continue. Sorry, guys, just technicality.
Okay. Anyway, then they said, okay, look, obviously witches, maybe they weren't witches. 17, and that was in the 1950s. They said, okay, some of these people weren't actually witches. Some of them. In 2005, they reopened it again. In 2005
Yeah.
or 2001. It was 2001, and they reopened it to be like, let's like legally in the US, people are still classified as witches.
Oh, right.
So
like
the legal
on
case,
their-
they've reopened the legal case, like a cold case, a really cold case.
to be like, was this person really a witch?
Because they're like, look, guys, obviously it wasn't a witch. Anyway, this was in 2001.
That's insane.
They were like, let's exonerate them all. Anyway, what do you know what else happened in 2001?
Do you want me to say 9/11?
No, Mike.
I don't know.
I mean,
What
Harry Potter came out and the Philosopher's Stone, the movie, you fuck.
I don't know what you wanted me to say.
No, I did. I set you up. But, so then they decided that 5 more of them weren't witches. 17 people are still classified as witches.
Yeah, wow.
So in 2001, they were like, maybe they were witches. Which is not that long
And it's
ago.
like,
Sorry, that was a really big...
No. In the defense, what evidence do you have that they were not witches? Well, we now know that witches aren't real, and that's our best defense at this stage.
Why did they reopen it if they weren't going to actually overturn it?
Yeah, ridiculous.
I don't know. I don't even know what to say about that, but I just, for some reason, I got into a Wikipedia hole about
I
that
like that
a while ago.
I really like that. And it's relevant to the pod.
Yeah. So, witches are real.
Witches are real.
Witches be crying. This is just okay. We've got a
chapter.
We've got a long podcast ahead of us. Next podcast I do, there's gonna be no chit chat. Okay.
Okay. No chit chat. No detours. Just a straight read.
Yeah. Okay. We'll try. Anyway, we'll move on. As the boys left the potions class for lunchtime.
Wait. So did we leave it off as Harry coming into the room and going, "Hey," and that's all he did? Oh,
he said, "Hey," to all the students and moved on.
Oh, that's it.
So yeah,
there was nothing else to that.
Yeah, he actually he just walked around.
Great.
As the boys left the potions class for lunchtime.
Can I pause again? Sorry. Just a reminder that this chapter is called "The Main Plot of This Currently Pointless Book Begins."
Yes, we haven't quite
got there
yet. That's partially our fault.
Well, I mean, it's all our fault, really.
And seeing as you wrote it, then another quarter of it's yours. So it's for 3/4 you, 1/4 me.
Yeah, I'll pay that.
As the boys left the potions class for lunchtime, they walked past a group of Slytherins, including Squid and John Mooney.
Wow.
2 twins who were in 5th year, or possibly 6th year. They sat next
We don't know. We don't have a quick way of checking, but they're about 15.
Yeah. Oh, no, they had a buddy in 4th year, so they were, So they sat near them and overheard them speaking. This is about the Squid speaking.
Yeah.
Rumour has it that clownfish Kim Jiri has been on the run for years now. He's killed many people and has never been able to be caught, said Squid Mooney. Our dad told us all about him. What?
Yeah, because their dad is Mr. Mooney's shop of dark magic.
It was just worded strangely. So why did they call him clownish Kim Jiri, said another Slytherin. Apparently, he just looked like a bit of a sad clown.
Oh.
He wasn't very popular at school.
Oh.
He always had a cold, so his nose was always red. His hair was orange, and his feet were really big, meaning he wore big shoes that looked like a clown's, said John Mooney.
Right, so his name isn't clownish, but his name is Kim Jiri, but people called him clownish Kim Jiri.
Clownish.
He looked like a clown.
He looked clownish.
Imagine that at an actual school, like, oh, it's bloody clownish Sam Garlepp.
To be fair, what they've described, okay, red hair, red nose, giant feet.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
And you know what they say about big clown feet?
Big clown dick.
That's it.
Always floppy, like an animal balloon.
I was going to say that, like a big balloon, like an inflatable balloon.
And we'll sign those too.
Yeah.
We'll sign your dicks, guys.
Well, I didn't ever said I'd do that.
I will.
He got bullied all the time for it. Some people say he studied some of the darkest magic when he left Hogwarts and got involved with the dark farts.
This is good extrapolation.
Yeah. Others say he cut off his own nose to look more like Voldemort, his hero.
Because he had a big red nose. So he cut it off. Weird.
Or change his appearance using the dark farts.
Oh.
The ministry is looking for a scruffy, ugly clown man to finally put him into prison for all the people he killed and all the dicks he chopped off.
Oh.
Did he chop off dicks? Oh, yeah. Do we know this?
Wait, do we know that?
We've talked about dicks getting chopped off.
Well, there was nearly Dickless Ned. Was nearly Dickless Ned's dick chopped off by Clown?
Wow, that's actually quite a good link.
But was that in the book already? I can't remember.
Oh, you wrote it.
Does anyone remember? Like, did we know he chopped off? Yeah, I think that. I don't know.
I don't know. Do we know that it was Clownish Kimjiri that was?
I don't know. Well, we know there's nearly Dickless Ned.
Yeah, and
who's a new ghost. So maybe he recently had his dick chopped off as a student. Anyway,
it's funny because we should know this, the authorities on this, because we've definitely talked about. Yeah. Do you think they'll find him? Said Mail Boy, who was with the group.
Mail Boy.
Sorry, is he?
He's back. Is that his first appearance in the book?
I think it is.
He's just back at Hogwarts. His dad last year killed Ron. I guess like Malfoy was still at Hogwarts while his dad was in Azkaban.
Yeah.
So I guess Malfoy
you just leave
back.
school because your dad goes to jail. Trust me.
Nah. Sam would know.
No.
Ever heard of Ted Bundy? No, Sam is not the son of Ted Bundy.
Oh, why do you keep bringing things I've got stories about?
Why? What's your Ted Bundy story?
Again, a friend of mine was just she's got Hinge, a dating app, and this is just a funny thing. When she was over at our place, and we casted her phone to the TV, and we go through.
Yeah.
She came across a guy, and I took a screenshot of Brian, and this is his dating app, and I don't know what he's trying to put out there with this.
Yeah. Finger guns going, hey.
So this is on his dating app. A random fact I love is, and that's a prompt, and you can put anything there.
Yeah.
He goes, a random fact I love is, Ted Bundy once saved a kid from drowning, retrieved a woman's purse from a thief, and worked for a suicide hotline. So on his dating app, he's saying, hey, Ted Bundy, good guy.
Not a bad guy. Like, what does a woman respond to that? Wow. I guess even murderers can be good people.
Why put that on your dating and especially Ted Bundy he would take women on, he'd kill women.
Horrible. Horrific.
What kind of matches are you hoping to get?
Yeah.
Be like, hey.
Let's humanize him.
Oh, fuck. Anyway,
that's a good one.
It's not actually that good, is it? But it's happened in real life. And no one's given me an excuse to you mentioned Ted Bundy. Anyway, Mail Boy has said, do you think they'll find him? No one's seen him in years or knows anything about where he is. But I have a feeling something bad is going to happen. Our dad kept warning us to be safe this year, that we weren't going to be in any trouble, but other houses might be, said Squid. If I wasn't in Slytherin, I'd be clinging onto my dick for dear life. I wouldn't want it to be chopped off by Clownish, said John. The Slytherins laughed, and all the boys finished their lunches and hung on to their dicks for dear life.
And you would.
And you would. Sam even rubbed his a little bit, and and it got a stiffy. So he went to the hospital wing.
So Sam's like, oh, I've got a stiffy. Oh, go see Madame Pomfrey. She'll fix it up for you.
Yeah. So he went to the hospital wing. But Madame Pomfrey was just like, this is a totally normal thing for boys your age. You know, there's apparently a secret potion you can make that makes girls want to give you head. No!
Madame Pomfrey says that.
Madame Pomfrey said that. as they were walking towards their next class...
Oh, it's not over.
No, as they were walking towards their next class, they found something extremely peculiar and unexpected lying on the floor.
Oh.
It was a black book, and written on the front were the words, "The Secret Diary of Winston Charger."
Oh.
End chapter.
And that's interesting for a couple of reasons. Because...
Name one.
I will. One is... Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets also involves
Yeah.
a secret diary.
It
And
does.
what I will now predict is I wrote this book and I got bored of the Goblet of Fire concept and went, I should probably just make it about the same as Chamber of Secrets.
This is the second book. You're probably like, I might start. Maybe I will write another book.
Yeah. And this is the chapter where the currently pointless book finally gets plot. And now it feels like that's that moment.
I mean,
because nothing else happened in that chapter.
Yeah, that's true. What was the name of the chapter? The main plot begins. Okay.
Yeah.
Because it didn't say it's going to actually
occur.
It
just begins.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It
Okay, that's fair. It advertised that really well.
And also, I believe in the first book, they found on the floor, in an almost identical fashion to this, they found printed emails from Mr. Charger, which also did a lot of exposition for the book.
Yeah, actually,
feels like this is the exact same plot point at the exact same moment of the book.
Hopefully, the next chapter explains what the fuck's been going on this whole time.
Well, how long have we been going for?
About 45.
Okay. What did you think of that? Where are we headed? What are your predictions now?
Well, it's a bit confusing because obviously the book was called The Team Wizard Tournament. That seems to have been cancelled.
Yeah. So the book is still called The Team Wizard Tournament, but it's no longer about the Team Wizard Tournament. Now it seems to be about clownish Kim Jiri, who
try to cut their dicks off.
Trying to cut people's dicks off. Possibly, maybe that's a sacrifice to the gods of the dark farts to bring Voldemort back or something.
Okay, there's going to be the Jim Wilkins Choir is going to try to kill them, and maybe the head of them is clownish Kim Jiri, and they want to kill, and his hero is Voldemort, and Voldemort want to kill Harry, and wait, but Mike's not Harry.
What's going on here?
Oh shit, I don't know, man.
I mean, all we can do is just keep reading.
And all we can do is keep reading. So I think I'm just keen to hear the next chapter.
Yeah. Well, let's do a double episode.
No, I can't because I actually have a massive stiffy, so I do have to get off to
go to the hospital
wing. So thank you, Mike. Thanks for having me.
We'll get an ambulance over if you want. Do you have anything you want to plug up at the end of the chappy?
No, I mean, just as always, you can follow me for my random, very occasional Instagram stories.
Yep.
At Sam Garlepp.
Yep.
Yeah, basically, I'll just be working alongside you.
Yep, on the 100 with Andy Lee.
And working my other show, and hopefully neither of my bosses from either of those listen to this podcast. So...
All right.
So don't tell my bosses.
Guys, right into the show, radiomikebot@gmail.com. Send us any owls for this week's owl post. Thank you so much for listening. Goodbye, Hamores. This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys was brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. For as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week at patreon.com/Radio Mike. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every single week. See you there. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.